Aloha and welcome to and also welcome back if you are coming back. This is only my third reading, and welcome to May 2019. I'm putting this out a little late. It's already May 1st. And by the time I get it, I'll probably be like May 3rd. But I think still in good due time. We got the whole month of May. And it can also go into like the first week of June as well. Since a lot of transits and planets and energies are, they themselves don't just cut off at the end of the month. A lot of those transits and transitions are, go into the next month as well. So pretty much for the month of May and the beginning, just a slight beginning of June as well. So yes, welcome back, and I'm Moana and Ella, and welcome to Moana and Ella's Divine Readings, and I'm happy to have you here. And so today, what I do is I do Hawaiian readings using the Hawaiian, mainly from the Hawaiian Ho'o Pono Pono healing practices of the ancient Hawaiians. If you'd like to learn more about Ho'o Pono Pono, I'll put that in the link below, the spelling, and also the name of the fellow who teaches that. And he's an amazing man, Dr. Ihaleakala Hew Len. And I'll put that all down in the information below. So yes, welcome. We'll get started. Before I do this in 3 parts. The first part is I also use the ancient Mayan knowledge and ancestry wisdom as well from the Mayan Oracle, Mayan Oracle Galactic Language of Light. And I just start with that, and I use the Xultún Tarot, and as well as I use the Hawaiian healing cards. This is from by Donna Elizabeth Jason, and sorry about the fuzziness there. Okay, but I'll put that also in the description box below if you're interested in those cards as well. All right, we'll get started. So the first part is the Mayan and Hawaiian cards and the oracle readings, and then I get into the tarot readings as well, and that's the second part. And then the third part, there's a wisdom given through whatever the Mayan card that gets pulled, the star glyph, and is a little Mudra and affirmation, which we do, and that's the third part. So we'll get started, and just follow along, and we'll have some fun as well as give some reading. Okay, so this one is a little different. If you've seen my last 2 readings, I'm actually decided to use the Crystal Wisdom Healing Oracle, and I went ahead and pulled that one out just because I just kind of wanted to start off with that as well. And today we got Peridot. Sorry about the lighting, it's kind of dark. There we go, there's a little bit. And Peridot, as we know, doesn't look too much, the color you can't see. Peridot can be different colors. However, normally it's known for being the color of green. And I'm actually going to read from the book just because I know the general reading from the general energies from Peridot, but I like what the author has to say in the book as well. And so I just wanted to kind of intervene that information as well. So basically, Peridot is known, it's usually green in color, and then it is also known for healing properties. It's cleansing. Green is the color of kind of the heart chakra as well. So a lot of cleansing. And what they speak about in the book here is that they talk about Peridot freeing the mind from unwelcome envious thoughts and night terrors. It is a transmutative and purifying. So there's the purifying right there. But as we know with the color green, the flip side of the color green is also, you know, envy, greed, jealousy. Well, envy and jealousy, greed, and that's the flip side of the color green. So you are deeply emotional and may possessively cling to the past or beat yourself up over mistakes. By nature, jealousy have dark thoughts within the mind. Detoxify your emotions, learn to forgive and let go. Follow your own life plan without judging yourself or being envious of others. You have the power to go through fiery transmutation and emerge transformed. So what I like to say here about the peridot is that, you know, the flip side. So you got the heart chakra of the green color, you got that healing, transmutation, as well as we have the flip side, the green, envious side of thing. And so basically, I'm getting like the energy of the reading overall for today. It's going to be mainly about, you know, which that harms us is that which also heals us. So letting go was one of the main things in the description there, and I'm going to go ahead while I'm continuing talking. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the Hawaiian cards. Whoops, it's not that one. We're going to shuffle first, and then we're gonna pull that one out. But yeah, which that harms us is also that which that heals us. So letting go was the main theme in that statement there, and so what I got is the same thing. So like, if we're being hard on ourselves and everything, that is the same thing that we need to let go. Okay, there we go. This is the one that wanted to come out. Okay, so why is the card from the Hawaiian healing, and so why actually in Hawaiian W is pronounced V. So why is fortune, value, and wealth. Okay, so basically the abundance. You can see that there. And so true abundance is a state of mind. Okay, a perspective when you choose to find appreciation for all that you have and for all that you are. You cultivate an inner environment that allows for and attracts abundance. That which you focus on expands, so by shifting your focus towards gratitude for yourself and all that surrounds you, abundance follows. My intention, so here's the wisdom, is the intention. My intention is to cultivate appreciation for all that I have and to shift my focus from suffering and lack to gratitude for the abundance that is within me and around me. Perfect. That kind of reminds me of the Six of Pentacles. You know, that giving, and also Six of Pentacles talks about, you know, as we receive abundance, we also want to show that gratitude in and also giving back. So the healing of the peridot, the wisdom, would be that letting go. So if we've been through a lot of hardships, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the Xultún Tarot card. If we've been through a lot of hardship, it is natural that when we finally start, you know, reaping the rewards and the fortune and abundance for all our hard work, then it's natural for us wanting to hang on to that. But what Spirit is saying is, when these gifts start coming in, you don't want to turn into you don't want to change. The transmutation wants to go higher, so within the gift. And for the Xultún Tarot, we have, that is these are 5, so this is that's 13. 13 is death. So very interesting. That's exactly what we're talking about, is letting go. So letting go is what's going to kind of save us. And I'm just going to bring these cards up a little closer there. So that's the letting go. That's what's going to save us, is this death process. So when we start beginning to get this abundance, we want to have the gratitude, and interestingly enough, this is the hard part, and this is also the faith, that yes, we deserve all this abundance, but at the same time, as we get it, we have become strong within ourselves. The abundance actually comes from within, that we have become a whole person. We are strong within ourselves, that we know that we can just also release this material gain, and know, because more will come. Because the important thing is that the abundance is felt within. The abundance is grown within ourselves. Okay, so with the Mayan Oracle cards, I pulled 3 cards. There is so there's the star glyphs, and then there's the numbers, and then there is the lens. The lens is kind of like what I describe as the, looking glass, the magnifier of the energies that are surrounding us. So we're going to start with the star glyphs. Okay. And wow, we got Ed Snob. Interesting. Ed Snob. Interesting. Ed Snob refers to flint. A flint that ignites fire. And he also represents the sword. So there's the sword of truth, and lighting that truth. So, and that's kind of like what I'm getting here is really important, because we have death, paradote, and the message of that which heals us. That which harms us is that which heals us. So, and that's like the double side. We got this reflection going on. We got the reflection. This is interesting. Not only do we have the reflection like a mirror, this, if this was a fellow, like his nose, I guess, if he was looking in the mirror, right, his reflection there, we don't only see the reflection there, but we also see the reflection between heaven and earth. Like, here we are on earth. What is within our hearts is that which was reflected up in the heavens. And that is the transmutation that is happening. And it's really interesting. So the truth, the light that is happening, the truth is really about our own essence, who we're becoming. The light is coming in to show us, to begin to show us who we really are. What is our heart? And, the thought came to me earlier about, this thought of, let's say happy people. People, they're happy. Wow, they're so amazing. But it's like, and of course, happy people are great. Don't get me wrong. However, it's like, how can we judge that? Right? How can we judge, like, oh, that person is great because they're happy all the time, right? And then there's the other person who is, maybe not so happy, a little more grumpier, a little more unpleasant to be around. And it's like, what is the truth? How do we judge that? Who is really the strong person? And this is not about judgment. It's about like seeing what is the real reality. Remember, this is just a example. And also, one thing I forgot to mention is that, of course, without saying, it's automatically all readings are, this is actually reading for the collective. So you basically take what you want from it, and what resonates, and whatever doesn't resonate, of course, let that be. So this may not resonate with everybody, and that just goes without saying. So yeah, so back to like, so it's not about judgment, but it's about what is this light showing. Like, I was kind of, and I shouldn't, of course we shouldn't do this, but of course we're human and it happens, right? That I am, comparing myself to somebody else, like, wow, that person is so great, look how patient they are. But that, you know, that person is wonderful. However, they are able to have this you know, patience and great attitudes and all that, you know, because they have a lot of support. And, you know, meanwhile, it's like, well, you know, I may seem like, oh, well, I may not come across as patient at times because my patience has run thin, because I've had a lot of challenges, and, you know, like a lot of challenges. I didn't have the same support as this person does. And of course, everybody has challenges. I'm not taking away from that, but I'm just saying there you know, there are, you know, measures that if this person maybe was in the same shoes as I am or was, that, you know, maybe their patience would not be as so strong or as so great. Maybe they would have the same, you know, I'm not saying I'm an impatient person, but I'm just saying things wear you down. That, you know, that strength in their patience, maybe their strength in their patience is not as, you know, as strong as it may seem, right? Because if we're going through life easy and things are just going in our way, you know, going the way we want it to go, we're flowing and everything happening, we have all the resources. I mean, of course, it makes it easy to be really happy and, you know, get along with everybody. But if we're going through life and we're having a lot of resistance, a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of challenges, you know, then that strength within ourselves, you know, wears thin. You know, our patience wears thin. You know, that we start questioning ourselves. So, that wears thin. And so the light in here is saying, know that no matter what, of course, the reflection is all about you. The reflection is all about your light, your internal light. And on the outside, like, so you don't want to compare yourself to others. You don't want to compare yourself to anything external. Always just compare, and it's not really compare, it's kind of the wrong word. I mean, except for you don't want to compare yourself to anything external, anybody, you know, outside of you. You don't want to compare with anybody else or anything else. But as far as anything else goes, so the reflection is just always seeing about what is the truth in you. And to know that, see how like everything is equal, to know that everything is strong. You are strong. You are perfect. And that even though we may fall and we may trip, and even though things are going to come up that are going to challenge us and maybe question ourselves, then just know that, just go back to this internal truth. Okay, we have the circle surrounding us, and that's kind of like, you know, a sunny moon. So the moon is a reflection of the sun, right? So there you have. We don't compare the moon and the sun, right? We can't compare them, but the moon holds the power of the sun. And that's the moon's truth. Like a lot of people, they like to talk about the moon, and, you know, when we get the moon card, they like to talk about the moon and the moon card, you know, oh, you know, deception, there's illusion, all that. But you know what? The moon holds a lot of also mysteries and mystics, and there's a lot of power in the moon. But the truth of the moon is, here's the truth, and this is the truth. So this is where you are strong, is your truth. This is the truth we're talking about. So what's the truth of the moon, right? If something is, you know, associated with illusion a lot and all that kind of stuff, you know, that's a lot of wavery stuff. But there is a truth to the moon, and the truth of the moon is the moon holds the power of the sun, because the moon's light is a reflection of the sun's light. So, and that is your truth, is that no matter what is put out there, there's always going to be the essence that's going to be a reflection of your best. And when we start tuning into that, and we start living that truth, then that's when we become that powerful side of the moon that holds the power of the sun, reflects the power of the sun. So we are always at our best. We are always in perfection, no matter what. So the illusion is everything outside of us. So, you know, if we're having a hard day, it looks like, you know, especially what they show in movies nowadays, oh, that person has an unlucky day, no matter what, everything goes wrong. Well, that is actually the illusion. Because maybe it's just a perception of what things are right and what things are wrong. But when we start changing our perception to our truth, we can turn around and say, holy cow, I'm glad that thing went wrong, because A, that's not what is meant for me, and B, that would have actually been a not a really healthy thing for me anyways. So that is the truth. I hope that makes sense. That's kind of a hard thing. What I'm going to read, I'm just going to go ahead and read the affirmation for this. I'll read the meditation affirmation, and then we'll go on to the numbers. And then after the tarot reading, I do the mudra with the affirmation. Okay, so the meditation is, I am the sword that is not a sword, which can cut away that which never really was. Only a mirrored reflection of the truth beyond mirrors. Wow, that's powerful. Mirrored beyond mirrors. That was the meditation. So that is something, if you feel for it, you can meditate on that. If you're feeling this, you know, this kind of wavery questioning, you know, about what's going on right now around you in your energies and everything, because it's also, you know, what's happening is this energy, there is a lot of this unstable energy, if you will. I just kind of watched another reader talk about Cancer and the energies that are going on, especially with the planet. Right now, the planets are, we have 3 planets in retrograde. That's Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto. And Jupiter is in retrograde with Sagittarius. And then there is Saturn and Pluto, which is in retrograde with Capricorn. So that can say, you know, for some of us, that, you know, maybe there's a question in our stability in our life, but the truth is, no matter what, yes, there's these changes, yes, there's these deaths going on, but no matter what, is that the truth is you are you, and that was right there in the meditation as well. And basically he talked about cutting away. So cutting away all that illusion. So anything external, just if it's not working for you, then hey, that's not me. That's not meant for me. And we just let it go. When we cut that away, we don't compare ourselves. Once we start comparing ourselves, you know, start looking at like the grass is greener on the other side, then we start getting to jealousy and starting to hold on to the wrong thing. No, just cut that away. Like, don't even see. Remember, the reflection is just a reflection of you within yourself. As above, so below, within your heart. Not with those outside of us. Not to compare. So it's always within. All right, so we're going to go next. We're going to get into the I'm going to get into the numbers, and just going to okay, that guy wants to come out. Oh, and look at that, we got center. So each line is a 5, and I'm just going to put that guy right there. Okay, perfect. So when we're talking like on the scale of numbers, like from 1 to 10, let's say, even though numbers actually go from 1 to 9, 5 is the center. So with 5, and then here we have it again, that as above, kind of so below, but here is the center. Talking about the center, what is between heaven and earth, and that they talk about, like in the Bible, that is between heaven and earth, that separates heaven from earth is this water, right? And that is the sky. So this is the center, and center is very important. See how this is really balanced? All is that center, and that's the balance. That's what we're looking for, and that is when we start stripping away like all the illusions, then we can then we're left with just us, just who we are. And then that is when we become centered. That is when we lose like all that shadow side and all that external side, which the Peridot healing is asking for. We lose all that jealousy, if you will. What else? All those negative things, you know, self-doubt and just everything that doesn't serve us, right? That you know, and it's not about that this is who we are, right? It's about that these things do creep in, and especially times when, you know, like now where there's a lot of changes going on. That's what I wanted to say before. You know, with the death is actually, it represents change, right? Things that are ending and things that are beginning. But the thing is, our advice today from the main theme is letting go of these things and let the change come in. However, with change, of course, there's always that instability. There's always that question. We start self-doubting because it's new. And also, it puts us in that, you know, out of our comfort zone, right? So this is where the Vai comes in, is the abundance that no matter what, we're starting to see a lot of, like, as if we're losing a lot of things. And that's where maybe that jealousy might be coming up, or like, wow, I'm losing this, I've lost that. And it's like, I look at, you know, Susie Q over there. She still has, you know, all that, you know, beautiful things and whatever. And I, you know, and I'm losing everything. And it's like, but that is the abundance in itself. Because sometimes these things weigh us down and hold us back. So the abundance is in the freedom, is that when we let go, when we allow things to just lose itself, strip itself away, when we just say, okay, I'm okay, I didn't need that, then that is when we are centered. When we accept, when we start accepting the situation as a gift instead of a loss. When we stop seeing the duality, this is bad, this is good, this is rich, this is poor. When we stop defining things like in our perceptions, it's important to change these perceptional values of the things that have been ingrained in us through, you know, the society. These are new times. These are new age times. It is time. It is time to change these perceptions because they really don't serve us anymore, and we're stepping out of Pisces. Pisces is, you see the dual fish, Pisces. And there's also illusion in the Piscean age. The dark side of Pisces can be about illusion as well, because of the water and, you know, murky water. But when we begin to lose this duality, strip ourselves away of things we don't need, allow this loss to happen, then we really become centered. And that is the gift. That is the abundance. Because you begin to realize, I didn't need that. And it was just weighing me down. All right, we're going to pick the lens. And we have resolution of duality. Wow. We were just talking about that. Resolution of duality. And that's exactly that message I was talking about, was that redefining what is truth. And that truth is center. I know I could have two of these little things, but I kind of like the cards all on one. Normally they stay pretty good, but okay. Yes, resolution of duality. That's actually a powerful lens card. So, and that is really magnifying the message to this point. See, when we strip away those ideas of duality, bad and good, failure actually is a really good word, to lose, in your vocabulary, like fail and succeed, success and unsuccess, I guess. Really, these things do not serve us. I just was talking to my son, and he's in competitive gymnastics, and everybody has bad days and good days, good training days and bad training days. And I was telling him that, there's really no such thing as a bad training day. That's when your body is moving to another level of skill, another skill level. And but of course it's going to a new place, so it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to make you question your own ability, because you're going to be a little clumsy, because your body is moving to the next level. But what it's doing is the body is naturally letting go of what it knew, and it's going into the higher level of what they say, fine motor movement training, right? Every time our skill gets a little bit more refined and enhanced, then our muscles themselves are learning more finer motor movements, and like a better reaction, a quicker quicker reaction time, more specific, like movement, stuff like that. So with that I was explaining, so there's no such thing as a bad training day. You're actually getting better. and that's what happens. The next week he goes in, and it's like, wow, I could do this skill all of a sudden. I can do that skill. I've been working on that for months. And that's the whole thing. So again, failure. That's one thing I would totally get out of your vocabulary. There's no such thing as failure. We cannot fail in anything. Yes, things don't work out. That doesn't mean it's failure. That means it was not meant for you. Strip it away. That's spirit helping you. Strip it away. Strip it away. And the other thing I wanted to mention, we talked about the moon, and this is like the silver flint and the sword. And we talk, if we think about that sword, Excalibur, that shiny silver sword, basically. So that's the energy, and that's also like the moon, the white moonlight as well. So getting rid of this duality and resolution. So basically healing with the duality, coming back to the peridot and the center. The heart chakra is the chakra that is in the center. It is our center chakra. So here, and of course, all the number cards are green, but it's popping out at me more so today than other reading. So yes, go with your heart. So that's what's coming through, is healing the heart. So that which harms us is also that which heals us. So if we have been harmed in the past with our heart, let's change the perceptions. Let's change the idea that this is what hurt me because of this belief. Let's get rid of that duality, because that's usually how we redefine things in our life, is this reflection of duality. And we want to get rid of that reflection of duality. We want to put in the reflection of truth, who we are, stripping away, things that don't serve us, stripping away like any of this bad or good duality and resolution. So it's the duality, our belief system that's been harming us. Well, let's use that to heal us. So we'll switch it and begin to heal with our heart. So I'm just going to read a little bit from the book. Now is the time for you to confront directly the illusions of separation and duality. There you go, separation. When we start looking for answers outside of ourselves, we are becoming separate from ourselves. We're coming away from our center. So when we start looking in, see how they're looking in at each other like this? They're looking in at each other. Everything is going in, north, east, south, and west. So bringing everything back to the center. Possibly up until now, our lives have been expanding out because we've been doing everything outside. We've been looking outside for success, for defining who we are. We've been looking outside, but it hasn't been there, and it's not working. And now with all these like retrogrades and things ending, now we're starting to see, oh, wow, this, I don't recognize myself anymore. how did this happen? I'm not recognizing my life anymore. And it's time to start bringing everything coming back in, bringing it to the center. And then healing, resoluting didn't sound good. Resolution of this idea of duality. And because when we have duality in such a way, that separates us from ourselves. And we want abundance. And this abundance is really, really, the abundant part of the peridot, that healing green energy, that heart chakra, and coming back to the center of our heart, knowing who we truly are, following our heart, really following, I want to say following our intuition, but Spirit is really speaking strongly to me right now. Spirit is really saying, we want you to say the heart. So whatever that means to you, take it. I know what it means to me, but whatever that means to you, take it. Follow your heart. If it's your passion, if it's your intuition, if it's your knowing, follow that. Whatever that means to you, follow that. And receiving this lens asks you to resolve your separate sense of identity. Bring awareness to the way you hold duality pairs such as good and bad. There, we were just talking about that. Right and wrong, them and us. Such pairs support the very framework of our presently transforming third-dimensional reality, which is no longer serving us. Duality is simply perception. So they're referring to them as duality pairs, right? So such as right and wrong. Okay, so so basically, the transformational of that duality is as you personally integrate your inner polarities and transmute your limiting beliefs, your reality transforms. Right? And so when enough personal realities are transformed, collective, right? So we want the collective. So the collective reality also shifts, revealing a greater reality of inseparable unity. So that's the center. And in knowing that the abundance is also when we are connected with ourselves, when we hold ourselves whole in our own hands, and we associate with that identity, then we begin to realize that we are actually, the abundance comes from that we are connected to this. All right, great. So just ran out of space there, but we were pretty much done. So just like a final message for the Mayan Oracle. And so we were basically talking about stripping things away and coming to our center, which is our source, who we are, our being, our soul, our source. And then, basically knowing that the abundance comes from that, we hold that in our hands. So we have the control, and having that whole source connected with us and connected with ourselves, and then with that we begin to realize the connectedness as a whole. So when we feel whole, then we see how everything is interconnected, how everything is whole. And it's funny, I just kind of wrote a message in a poem about, something about the seas and the gift from the universe, and it was kind of referring to that, like as we stand there just kind of empty. So here's the death, here's the letting go. Letting go of realities, we're letting go of, all realms of dimensions about ourselves, and in association with changing our association with our values. That the values are not outside of us, they're within, and we have the power. We have our own power. The moon holds the power of the sun. So that's its own power, and that we hold our own power, and that is the truth. And then that just gets reflected naturally. The abundance comes naturally, because when we connect with ourselves, we realize we're connected with everything. We're connected with the whole universe. Everything's interconnected. Nothing is by mistake. and that the resources are there. They've always been there, and that is how we can embrace them. We don't need to take them. They're there. They'll always be there. They've always been there. They're there, and they always will be there. And that is the beauty of the abundance, is that we'll always have everything we need. And that is the power within ourselves, is when we embrace our beauty within ourselves, is our truth. Coming back to the heart chakra, the center, coming back to the center, and that is just coming back to our being, our essence. All right, I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to go into the tarot section next and see what the tarot cards have to say. Speaking of interconnectedness and everything, it actually never surprises me. Sometimes it scares me how, like, the cards like communicate to each other, because the tarot always reflects the Mayan Oracle card. All right, so we'll see you then. If you continue, you can stop right here if you like, or you can continue on to the tarot, which is the next section. Thank you very much, and if we'll see you over at the tarot, we'll see you there. Thanks. Aloha. Aloha, welcome back to the second part of the reading, the tarot reading. I went ahead, so this side is the Mayan Oracle reading that we did in the first part. If you want to, if you haven't seen that, you can just go back and see that. I put the whole reading together because it is an inclusive reading. It goes together, and the energies definitely do tie in. I do refer back to here, but I'll only refer back to what I've mentioned. However, I don't really go back over the reading what I talked about, but I do talk about the main points because it does follow through into the tarot reading as well. And that's the interesting part. It's like the cards talk to them. Talk to themselves is actually kind of scary, because the main points still come through. And I went ahead and pulled the. I did meditate, and I just shuffled them, and I just pulled them, just to save a little bit of time. But however, I do shuffle this on camera and pull it through. Again, this is a collective. If you're just watching this second half, this is a collective reading. It may resonate, it may not resonate, so just take what resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate, that's fine too. Just dismiss that. Yeah. And of course, there's lots of excellent readers out there. I enjoy many. So yeah, basically we'll just kind of, just a little recap with the Mayan Oracle. We talked a bit about all about the, we started out with the peridot, the heart chakra, healing the center. We had the center number 5 in the numerology that came out with the Mayan Oracle. And also we had resolution of duality. So that was the main point. The main point was about redefining our realities, our own perception on realities. That, you know, things, a lot of the things that we may have known as truth up until this time, up until today, we're seeing is like, wow, that doesn't, that I don't even recognize that anymore. That really doesn't seem true. We're starting to feel as if we're starting to learn, like, all this truth is actually has not been so truth. not like a complete lie or a lie or anything, just like, it's just, wow, that was not what it seems, or we ourselves are just naturally, and that's what's happening for a lot of us. We're just naturally changing, we're naturally transforming, we're just naturally changing our perceptions on life, and with that we're starting to see things from a whole new perception. And this is a gift from the universe. This is a gift of this time, because it is awakening, it is learning, it is growing. And when we change our perceptions, well, that's what happens. We always grow. And so it talks about being, you know, that growth, letting things go, stripping away, and, you know, having that reflection within ourselves. We talked a bit about also about, you know, how this new reality, it's important for us to kind of just let go, not to try to define it, not to try to seek the answers, just allow the answers to be revealed in the reflection. As we let go, we become more and more centered to ourselves, as we just letting go of our definitions, our realities, our you know, everything that we have basically learned to be true, just letting all that go. Letting go of everything that we have learned. If it's not making sense anymore, just letting go. And that's where the death cards comes in. We had the death card as the main energy from the Xultún Tarot, Mayan Xultún Tarot. And it so portrayed so much with everything. Releasing this idea of duality was a big thing. The main theme was also that which harms us is that which heals us. And that came out through the Peridot card, which is the balance between the, you know, a Peridot is associated with the color green, which is also associated with the heart chakra, right, which is the heart chakra. And that is also healing. Also, when we're not in balance, when we have this duality, right and wrong, and good and bad, and rich and poor, and all that, when we have this duality, it brings up, you know, not so best in ourselves. And that brings up, you know, it brings up like jealousy, you know, greed, and so, yeah, just not the best in ourselves. All that shadow side, all that insecurities, and jealousy came up because, again, the color green. So, and that is, you know, when we're associated with the duality. And speaking about the best within ourselves. So this is where this card comes in. This is the card from the Ancestors and Oracle cards. Sorry, Angel and Ancestors. Sorry. My tongue is starting to get tied there. And it is the card of Winter, which is basically take care of your needs. Right, so we are all familiar with the idea, like with winter. So winter brings about, you know, preparation. Okay, we often think more about, oh, what do we need, rather than our wants for winter, because it's all about preparing for the long months of cold and, you know, the shortage of growth, if you will, for those who have snow and everything. You know, there's that shortage of growth in vegetation and everything like that. So preparing for the winter, we all have the idea. Now, they chosen the wolf to represent this particular card because a couple of things. The wolf is one of the very few animals of the forest that, you know, he sustains, he continues being active throughout the winter. He also represents, you know, that lone wolf idea. So interestingly enough, with the Mayan Oracle cards, we came into the perspective of, you know, coming to the self, coming back to center. And it's all about you. To stop looking outside of ourselves for the answers and for the defining of self and defining of, you know, who we should be and what we should do, and all that good stuff. It's about coming back towards the inside, and sometimes we have to come within. We have to go within, and that's with the lone wolf. So the wolf, however, is also, as we know, the canine species is also very much the family, you know, pack of wolves, and so they're very much also family oriented. So they're very interesting. So if we can look at that, you know, we see the duality of, oh, well, lone and family. So there's a very interesting reflection. But when the wolf The wolf is also one of the very few animals that is, well, actually not really one of the very few animals. A lot of animals know this, but we see this a lot in the canine species, and speaking about the wolf, that when he is hurt or harmed or anything, he knows that, okay, I'm going to go off on my own and heal myself. So he knows basically taking care of his needs. So he knows when it's time to be part of the family, be part of the pack, if you will, if that's like friends, social, you want to look at it that way. And then he knows when it's time, okay, I need some healing or rejuvenation. So I need to go off on my own. So that's a very, very, very important message in that card. And something that just came to me is also discerning. Discernment. So because a lot of our issues in healing and health today are more have to do with social media, internet. So it's a lot more like on a social aspect of things. So the social aspect of dealing with mental energies, emotional energies. And the hard thing about that, and it comes back to Read.sec, which one of the meanings, defining words for Read.sec is the reflection, is the mirroring, is that, and this moon idea, also the duality of moon's illusion, and then the truth of is light. And so with that in mind, there's a lot of illusions and fine areas that are kind of elusive, right? Elusive. Like, where are the boundaries? Where do I need that moment where, okay, I got to get off social media, or maybe not interact so much at this moment. I need to cut back and have that me time. And do some internal work and coming back to my essence, because when we start out there, there's a lot out there, and we can slowly get sidetracked, and I know I do. So coming back to, and it's not necessarily like meditating, whatever works for you, but it's that me time. It's whatever, taking care of your needs, whatever you feel. If it's like a hot bath, if it's meditating, or if it's just a spa day, if it's shopping, like, on your own, if it's just reading a book by the fire, going to the beach, something that you do on your own that totally resonates only with yourself, with your being. And that's the thing that's coming out, is discerning when it's time for you to take that time out. And today it's actually a little bit harder because of these fine lines are kind of blending, right? Because it's not physical. It's not like we're physically tired. Well, I mean, we do get tired, but it's more like an emotional tired. And so, this card also talks about, pushing through. Okay, so there's a duality again. When is it time to push through? Are you pushing through out of are you pushing through to get something done, or to be somewhere or something? Are you pushing through like more out of like this kind of false sense of responsibility, like, oh, I have to be there for my friend because of again, that social aspect of that responsibility? Well, I got to be there for support. Or are you pushing through because it's an actual need? Like, this is a natural need. I need to get this done because it will bring back to me, abundance. And this is where this card comes in. And this is discernment. What's going to bring you internal abundance? Okay. So what's bringing you this abundance? And it's all about yourself. And so next card, I talked a lot about that card, and that was really important. That really, really spoke out, especially looking at, his face there. That really spoke out to me. But the next cards, I'm not going to go too much into it. Actually, that's cool that fell down, because we have New Birth and Guarded Vigilante. And again, discernment is going to be a key for you in the next month, because of all this newness that's coming up. There's a lot of new things coming up, a new birth. And, you know, it does give us a sense of having this protection. We talked about the protection here. And the protection is also coming out through this dancer of frustration. That also speaks about protection because of the fact of, you know, we talked about this abundance coming in. When this abundance come in, and it's coming in, that's why all this new stuff is coming about. And this old stuff is falling apart, and you're feeling this loss and everything. Because all this abundance is coming in. And we talked about when it comes in, are you going to hold on to it, or are you going to let it go? You know, like, you don't want to associate. Sorry, I don't mean to tell everybody what to do. Do not do this. I don't mean it that way. But what the advice would be is that we wouldn't want to, like, you know, associate with the abundance in a way like, oh, I have this gain, I need to hold on to it. No, we also want to continue to let it go, because we just came into this power of ourself, this centeredness, that we are really the abundance, and we have everything we need, and the universe will continue to give us everything we need, because we're going to continue to step into our ownness. I like to make up words, our ownness. So we're going to step into our, you know, our own recognition from our essence, who we truly are, connecting with this heart chakra. Spirit is saying very strongly throughout the readings, the oracle reading and this one, really connect with your heart chakra. Connect with your heart. Who are you? That's going to tell you. That will tell you. It will tell you everything. It has all the answers there of what you need to do for yourself. You have the answers right there. And that comes through with this dancer of frustration. The dancer of frustration is that of the obstacles, you know, that pushing through. When's the time to push through? When is it time to go and rest and being for our, having that time for our self being on our own. Very, 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 very important for this month. There's going to be times, it is going to be a busy month, right? Because all this newness is coming in. But if you look at her, she's got the butterfly there. So that's the symbol for here's the butterfly there, the symbol of transformation, transfiguration. Because you, not only is things around you new, you are being a new person. And that is I love to watch the readings, and that it seems to be a theme in some of the readings, and it's so true. The energies are there. We got like 3 planets, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in retrograde, and you know, sometimes, you know, when things start moving backwards, it's like this time to reflect. It's basically a time to slow down, to reflect, because then things are going to start moving forward again. And then when they do, it's like all of a sudden all this stuff is going to influx of things are going to come in. Okay, I better wrap up these cards because we got to get to the tarot. There's just one quick thing I wanted to say. Yeah, so there's going to be a feeling of vulnerability. If you look at the look on her face, she's feeling safe. She's feeling good. She has her hand, a butterfly. She's connecting with she's connecting with herself, but with her new self as well. She's connecting with this transformation going on. However, there is also a sense of that shakiness, right? The vulnerability. So this vulnerability, it is natural. It's appropriate. Okay, it's like the full learning to become steady on his legs, like a new baby horse, right? They're very, very wobbly, and it's like, you know, so they're starting to walk for the very first time, and those legs will become remarkably powerful in time, right? We associate the horse with beauty and power. Cars are rated by horsepower. However, the process of growth and maturity has to take place, and it requires some wobbly first attempts. It cannot be in any other way. And that's why the wisdom of the dancer frustration comes up, and it talks about when I show up, like these obstacles, like, or, you know, when the new beginnings, this vulnerability, this wobbliness, because it has to be like that, because everything is new. That's the way we learn and grow. We have to go through these steps. So I talked a bit about, in the Mayan Oracle, about there's no such thing as failure. Get rid of that word from your vocabulary, okay? Because it's not failure. You're growing. Every time something kind of doesn't work out, or you fall, you stumble, that means you're growing. So get rid of the word failure. And that's what the Dance of Frustration talks about. When I show up, when there's obstacles, when there's maybe, let's say, resistance, or things being a little wobbly, all right, are you going to try to push me away and resist me and make it harder? Because that resistance will make it harder for you to continue to grow. Or are you going to walk with me and just go ahead, fall and stumble, and then my hold, this grasp of frustration, I will let go. I will release and let go. And so that's what he's referring to, the dancer of frustration. It's interesting that he is the dancer of frustration, because it's really referring to us, that rhythm, that flow. When there's a beautiful dance, when we watch beautiful like couples dancing and the ballet, and the ballet has a corps de ballet, and we see everybody dancing together, the flow, right? So it's talking about this flow of life. So coming into this newness, right? This whole newness, it's vulnerable, it's uncomfortable, we're out of our comfort zone, we're not recognizing things, but you know what? We can still dance through this time. And because we're going to go with the flow, we're going to just allow things to come to us, and we're going to allow things to flow out of our lives. And that's the flow, and that's the dance. And then as we accept these things, as we dance with life, then things become a lot easier for us to accept. And the only thing I want to touch base, this is from the Osho card. I wasn't going to pull one, but this guy came out, and it was so perfect because it's politics, and we have the two-face. So again, there's two themes really going on. But the one main theme is that which heals us, that's which harms us is that which heals us. So the politics is definitely right back in the beginning of the paradote. The heart chakra, are we coming from, and Esnap here, are we coming from truth of ourselves? Esnap talks so much about the truth, like the Excalibur sword. He also represents a sword, he represents the flint. So the flint is the starter of new life. So, because that's the fire of knowledge, the fire of life. The flint is the one that ignites that fire. That's the power of the sun. So he ignites, he has the power within him because he ignites the flame. He's not the flame, he creates the flame. So this creation of truth, right? New birth. And so are we coming from our heart chakra? Are we coming from the heart? Again, Spirit is really saying heart, from the heart. So maybe if you don't know of anything, I think I'm going to look one up. I used to know a whole bunch of chakra healings, but it's neat to see what else is out there too. But maybe do some heart chakra work. And if you don't know of one, then I mean, YouTube, right? Look one up, YouTube, Google it. Heart chakra. I know there's lots of things out there, but I am getting really maybe look into something with the heart chakra, or just really, connect with yourself. Do this alone time. Do this winter, bit of winter isolation here. This winter not hibernation, but isolation, right? A little bit of that, but really connect with this heart chakra, because when we don't, and we talked about, the duality, and that's politics. See the duality. He's got his one face. He's got his one face for one way, in front of the people. I want you to vote for me, elect me. And then he's got his face for, his campaign people, the people who know him for who he really is, right? Which is, if I'm phoning all the time, I'm obviously got to balance that out with this other side. So that, so discernment, connecting with the heart chakra, and that will help us from staying away from this duality and you know, do resolution of duality, healing the heart chakra. Allow your heart to heal this duality. Nothing's right, nothing's wrong, nothing's poor, nothing's rich. We all have abundance, and that's the truth, because we are abundance. Okay, coming into the can I say that again 5 times? All right, now we're going to come into the tarot spread here. I'm just going to keep my eye on the time. Okay, so the tarot spread, this is a Hawaiian spread. I use the Ho'o Pono Pono aspects of Hawaiian, and in which speaking about heart chakras and chakras. So how the Hawaiian spread works is the center one is the middle self. That represents you here on earth. That's your physical you here on this manifested you here on earth. The bottom card is like the root chakra. It's your lower self. It's recognized as your lower self. This is your shadow self. This is your shadow side. This is when also, when we talked about this duality here, when we live in duality, it also causes us to be separate from ourselves. So see the separation, right? So it creates us to be separate from ourselves. So that's why we want to heal this. We want to heal this. Actually, and you can even get yourself a green peridot. You know, get yourself a green peridot, you know, and have it like to, you know, remind you to connect to your heart chakra. So sometimes with the lower self, that can bring us, you know, into separations. However, we learn, most of our lessons are learned from that lower self, and it's also can be associated with things of the past, and as well as lessons learned. It can also be associated with past lives lessons, and you know, yes, on our shadow side. Then the card on top represents the higher self. This is our self without duality, without any shadow side. It's basically our higher self, our celestial selves. Okay. This card represents the position of unseen. This one represents the position that is seen. I mean, that is obvious, but maybe we need to you know, pay more attention to it. And then the upper card there, the higher card, represents when our 3 selves are aligned, and this is like opposing. I don't like using the word opposing, but it's all I can think about right now. Opposing energies or contributing energies. So things that are going to energies that are accelerating our growth, or energies that are decelerating our growth. Now remember, nothing is bad or good, because it's all about what is needed. Again, what are your needs, right? So it's all about what is needed. And I always work with energies that are complementary. All right. So we're going to turn over the first card. And that is the middle card. Okay, so this represents us here, what we're going through right now, and it is the 5 of Cups. Very interesting. I am not surprised. If you look at her, well, she looks a little more dismal than the new birth. So, but they look kind of like similar energies. So this is what we're associated with. This is what we're feeling right now. This is what we're feeling around us. But remember, you know, the healing is all about illusions, and this card is also talks about illusion. It's like the card, well, weeping over spilled milk, they say, because of the fact she's got the 3 broken glasses there, and she's kind of like focusing on that. and not focusing on the two beautiful ones she has in her hand. So, and that's basically, and we talked about with the Mayan Oracle cards. So you see, this is how it's kind of scary sometimes, like how, like, wow, the message is so right on. So we talked about the Mayan Oracle cards, about the illusions, like we're seeing all this loss because it's the death, right? We have the death, so we're seeing all this loss happening around us, and we're focusing on that, when it's actually, the loss is actually the abundance. The loss is because it's what's holding us back, and we need this loss. We need this loss in order to have this birth, right? Like if we look at the butterfly, we all know about the butterfly, the caterpillar. He loses his whole body. His whole body gets broken down and repieced back together, and that's what we're feeling, and that's what this Five of Cups is. But the illusion is we're seeing, we're just kind of focused on we're just focusing on the feeling of this loss, instead of how do I say this? So we're just more focused. It seems like the energies are pulling us more towards, the loss and everything that's coming apart around us, rather than what's coming in, right? Then that's what's coming in, is this abundance, this beauty here. All right, and so we'll go to the this is the lower self, and we have the Nine of Wands. And that's kind of funny. I really felt like this Nine of Wands, or I really felt like a 9 card was going to come up. 9 is an interesting number. The 10s represent that kind of, again, like a new birth. It's new, right? It's because it has ended. 9 represents a number that is the last number, right? The numbers actually go from 1 to 9, and then 0, and then 1 to 9. And so with the 9, it's like it's that moment right before this new, it's right before this ending, right? It's right before, like the Tower moment. Is right before, the ending. And what I'm getting with that Nine of Wands is that I'm just getting, we're starting to see this is a time. It's a time to get ready, preparation. Wands are usually the card of action. So yeah, we're talking about the lower self. In the lower self position, we have the Nine of Wands. So this is basically, this is more about, like, on the Celtic cross, is, like your hopes and dreams. Your hopes and fears kind of position. So it's basically, what your kind of like your shadow side, what's kind of maybe affecting you from, your root chakra. So the lower self. So it's kind of like, your hopes and fears. So the Nine of Wands, and of course it's all very relevant. So the Nine of Wands is basically, so the 9 is, is coming to the end. So you're really feeling like, the pressure, the impact of this ending. Actually, it's more, because it's the lower self. It's more, again, like more like your hopes and fears. So it's not exactly where you're at. Remember, this is also the position of the past as well. So it's basically the aftermath of what you've just been through. It's not where you're at. Where you're at is the middle self. So this is kind of like how you're feeling of we're standing right now at a midpoint. We just had an ending, a completion, and we're coming into the new beginning. And that new beginning is happening, and it's happening in the month of May. And it's actually very exciting. I always love all the cards, no matter what card comes up, even though they say, like, the Five of I believe it's Five of Swords. They say that's the harshest card to get into that. Well, I love all of them because I always talk to everything about completion. And so, you know, so this is kind of like the aftermath. It's just kind of like where our focus is. And it's a good news, because the thing is, we're ready to start looking at those 2 cups in front of us, right? We're starting to get ready to, hey, I'm whole. I am, you know, I'm starting to connect with my heart chakra. So you see how her hands right here, you know, like kind of everything's like kind of crosses here at the heart. So it's like connecting with the heart, right? And she's beginning to get ready to kind of get up with her 2 glasses and actually celebrate. So the Nine of Wands, so again, it's kind of like the hopes and fears. It's kind of like the impact of, you know, things that, you know, happen all the way up until now into the past. But the Nine of Wands, you know, Wands are an action card. Then the action here is kind of denoting the action of courage, actually, the action of courage, and which is really relevant to the reading, because the reading is all about, you know, connecting to that heart chakra. We had the wolf, the winter wolf here, and he spoke about, you know, in the winter, you know, and the dance of frustration. You know, when we have these obstacles and these obstacles and you know, challenges that come up, that, you know, we're going to push through that. You know, we actually can just face the challenge in acceptance. We don't have to fight the challenge, and that's what the Dance of Frustration talks about. We don't have to fight the challenge, because that resistance just makes it more difficult. But when we just embrace it in acceptance, okay, here's the challenge, winter is here. What are my needs? So, and then facing your needs. And that's what he's getting ready right here. He's getting ready, okay, what is my needs, you know? He's been through the battle, he's been through the war, he's getting ready, actually, and he's holding this one wand. And there we have the moon, right? He's holding this one wand. It's almost like it's being directed up towards the moon. So he's seeking, you know, what's inside. What is the mystery inside of me? What is the truth inside of me? And that's the mystery. And by just letting go and not looking at around him, even though it's a beautiful card, the color is beautiful. And look, it's got like again, we talked about the moon holding the power of the sun, and we have that sun color, you know, that golden sun, you know, right on the horizon. So he's getting ready to get up and walk. And so he's embracing himself, he's connecting with his heart, and he's rallying up that courage to move forward, to push through. And that's the truth right there, it's to push truth. And what's interesting, we talked about, you know, the main theme being that which harms us is that which will heal us. So using, like flipping it, right? Instead of having a duality, bad and good, like flipping it to make it a complete thing. And interesting, in the book, this is from the Legacy of the Divine Tarot, and in the book, actually, they have the description written in the book, which is really interesting. Right. So in the book, the description talks about, you know, that which does not kill us, make us stronger. And I think that's a really good theme to go through, that courage, knowing that all this is what's pushing us forward to continue for this abundance in ourselves, becoming stronger and receiving all the gifts from the universe. And there we have it, the world, y'all. So this is in the higher self position. So it's like a complete self. It's your higher being, higher self, celestial self. So as a whole, and we have the world. So that really explains that. This is what's coming. So this is our abundance. So energies that we are not seeing, to look, that we may want to pay attention to, is the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups, you know, often represents, again, that focus on maybe what we don't have. And then we see this gift coming in from the universe, and it's about, like, almost like before, you know, like this Five of Cups, actually almost if it's reversed, right? We're here, then we're here, and we're gathering up our courage here. You know, from the lower self, we're going back to lower self and say, hey, we can do this. Let's all get together and make this world happen, to you know, step into our new world, right? This is the new world coming up. So we're gathering up, and he's just about to turn his head to see that cup there. So that's perfect energies to be aware, like just to know it's right around the corner. And that just seems to be another theme of messages that seems to be coming through. It's right around the corner. It's coming sooner than you think. Basically, I'm going to leave the message with this card as faith. Having that faith in yourself, and that connectedness, that interconnectedness, that we're connected with the universe, and abundance is right there. It's right in front of us. And that kind of came up too with the Mayan Oracle cards, that once we change our perception, see, it's about changing his perception. It's about looking a different direction. And once he looks in a different direction, he'll see that the universe has that gift for us. And it's having that faith. Sometimes that courage comes from the faith in knowing it is there. You know, maybe we're exhausted. If we're getting that feeling, we just can't take another step forward. But you know what? Maybe we just, you know, go and do a little bit of healing, you know, some retreating, slowing down a little bit, taking some me time, and then, you know what, I'll come back out and I'll be ready to look in that new direction, and I will see all the answers will be there. And if you notice, again, we have the green. So a lot of green coming up. So a lot of healing. And I'm really connecting with the heart again. Yeah, spirit's really staying strong, connecting with that heart. The healing is in the heart. And this is energies that we are being aware of. So there's the moon again. So we are being aware, like we have the moon. And this is the Eight of Cups. Right? So the Eight of Cups, you know, kind of denoting, you know, leaving the things that doesn't serve us behind, and walking into better, you know, refiner, and actually a little more solitary, which means in a healing sense. So even though we can, so I'm looking at these cups and I'm seeing like a lot of people. So I am seeing the social media kind of thing, you know, but through a lot of people, and I, because of the water, I'm getting, you know, this lot of people connectedness that are surrounding you, are not necessarily like right in front of you, physically in front of you, because of the water. And so it could be, even though internet is more like a fire energy, there is this sense, and I guess because it's social, so a lot of your social aspects, your friends and all that, are basically at a distance. So I am feeling with this card, there is a distance here. So, but you are starting to see, like, look, they're all around you, but now you're starting to see that, oh, okay, I need to step into my own recognition. I need to step into my own power. I need to step into my own self, and maybe possibly, you know, separate from the idealisms of all the other people out there, because if these people are from afar, how much do we really know them? How much do they really know us? So we can't really take the identity of ourselves from advice or counsel, you know, of other people, right? Like if we look on YouTube, all these comments, you know, you can't identify yourself with, you know, these comments, especially like the negative ones. Like, they don't know you. They don't know. Right. So we're talking about the Eight of Cups. Yeah, so basically, you know, identifying with yourself, finding the mystery again, the mystery of the moon, finding the power, that mystery power that's within you. And again, connecting with the heart chakra. So yeah, I love this card. And of course, this card talks about like how there below, he's, you know, octopus in the water, and then he's half man above the water. So again, that transformation, and he's reaching to the moon. So reaching for that mystery within himself. And so that basically is all about letting go. unassociating with that is external to you and associating with that that's internal. So, and the moon really is, the moon is really also is a symbol of reflection. And of course we have that with Esnab. So finding that reflection within yourself. And so the top card here, when these three cards are aligned, the lower, the middle, and the higher self, this is the wisdom of this card from Spirit. This is from Spirit. And we have the Chariot. Wow. So that's a Cancer card. And so very, very beautiful, because Cancer is all about the heart. And also, how interestingly enough, Cancer is ruled by the moon. So there you have it, the moon again. But also, again, I'm getting that force, that beautiful force, the proper force, the force of what is needed for you to push through to where you need to go. Okay, this is about where you need to go. We talked about discernment earlier. So discerning, right? We have the two horses. Okay, so the two horses. So here could be your duality, right? This horse on the left or the right, and that horse on the other left or the right. How do you want to look at that, right? So, but they come together to pull the chariot that is centered, right? The center. And we have this beautiful being coming up that's centered. So again, focusing on the center, focusing on your heart, focusing on your needs. So very, very powerful, very, very beautiful. So that is you coming together, okay? The duality is dissolving, resolution of duality, it's dissolving so the two can become one, and that's the completeness, right? And that's what I always talk about, is the complementary. The complementary is not bad or good. Complementary is what's in the middle of that, when the bad and good come together, the creation of that. And I always see the Chariot as a very creative card. And then of course the energies that are crossing this, remember this is just energies. So basically, you know, when we associate the tarot cards as a negative card or a positive card, we have the Seven of Swords, so usually associated with as a negative card, which is okay. Seven of Swords can be like deceit and all that stuff, but again, what I'm getting, because of the moon energy, more like the illusion. Okay, and there's the moon again right here. So this speaks more about the illusion. So this is not an actionable card. It's just the energies that are contributing, or the energies that are detracting from what's going on. And remember, it's not bad or good. I always get away from duality, unless, you know, in the case of description or trying to define something. But in this case, so the Seven of Swords, so again, we already talked a lot about that in the Mayan Oracle. It might be good to watch that in this one. It's really, really relevant. And again, the moon energy, so is that illusion, right? The illusion of things external. Like he's here, he's coming in, you know, he looks like he's a thief coming in to rob all the goodies, right? Well, the wealth is not there. The abundance is not there, and that's the illusion. So things that are outside of you are not the illusion. The other thing I never saw about this card before, but I'm noticing now, is he's coming in. But he's coming in with this aggressiveness, right? I'm going to get what I want. But the thing is let go of that, I got to get what I want, right? Get rid of that politics, that duality, and then come to the center. Because when he comes inside, he may realize, oh, hey, this is my place. I own all this anyways. I own all this. So there's the illusion. The illusion that it's yours. It always has been yours. And give yourself that power. So in this case, I really find in an indirect way, this card is actually contributing energies to everything. Because we were talking about illusion. So instead of illusion, see the moon as the mystery that has your answers. And it's right there. It's right in front of us. And just know it's right in front of us. But all we have to do is take away, let us strip away all the things that do not serve us. And then our abundance is right there. And that's the wisdom of that card. So that's why I love all the cards. They're all very powerful for me, even though I do have a favorite card. I'm just going to pull one more card here, if hopefully my thing won't cut out. And it is the mystical shaman card. Okay, so to finish off, we just picked one last card from the Mystic Shaman Oracle. And interestingly enough, we have the Heart of the Sky. There's the word heart and Heart of the Sky. And again, so a lot of heart healing, connecting with your heart, and just it's almost like learning who you are again. But it's not like you don't have to seek or go far. The answers are right there. You just have to allow them to reveal themselves. Sometimes when we try to identify ourselves or try to identify with things or find answers, when we try to seek for them, we end up getting kind of distracted, you know, and maybe detoured, you know, in the wrong direction. I mean, we always come back to it, not to worry there. That it's not that much of a biggie, but pretty much, you know, just saying that, you know, at this point, it's not really like any hard work, you know. It's just all about allowing yourself to reveal yourself, and it's just and that's the connection right there. Is when it starts to present itself. It's like you recognize it. Just start recognizing, you know, things, feelings, visions, if you will, and connecting with your heart, feelings, a lot of the feelings that you're feeling, your passion. So the heart of the sky is the love force that made all creation possible. This same force is present when you create with originality. There you go, the original you. When you bring formlessness, right, so not trying to make something out of it, not trying to recognize something, just allow it to come, and then recognize that formlessness to form or inspired ideas to expression, especially with all this new beginning. The primal force does not know good or bad. There we have it. Get rid of the ideal of duality, resolution of duality. It is up to us to provide the clear intention that will guide it to manifest. Okay, the clear intention that will guide it to manifest. The heart sky helps us call in beauty from the invisible world, the mysteries of the moon, and birth in that world of matter. And there you have the new birth coming in. So we may be feeling a little uncomfortable and all that, but that's normal. That is natural. That is what's needed. So just acceptance, recognizing, letting go, and remember that coming to the center, coming to this heart, abundance is here, and it's just around the corner. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this reading. I really enjoyed reading for you. It has been great. Sorry for all the hiccups cutting short. But we made it through. Another reading, May 2019. It's going to be a great month, y'all. Just have fun, enjoy. And that's the other thing. Don't forget to have fun. Don't forget to have joy and love and peace, harmony within yourself, within your heart. Love you all, and enjoy every bit of life and every breath that we take. Aloha, Kekahi, Kekahi. Love one another, especially yourself. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, welcome to the third part of the reading, which is the affirmation with the mudra. This reading, this is the May 2019 reading, and again, we are outside. May, we haven't quite hit summer solstice yet, but we're getting there. But it's warm enough to be outside with a little bit of a sweater, so I'm happy to do that. Today I decided to take it, you know, nighttime, so something a little different. All right, so we had Esnop, and he was the sword, cutting the sword for truth, as well as the flint to start the fire. To cut away what doesn't serve us, and then start cutting away everything as I was mentioning in the reading, to kind of strip away the things that do not serve us. So that's going to be our the potential here, as well as our intent. All right, so So the mudra is basically using the whole arm. Sometimes usually mudras with hands, but these mudras are incorporating, you know, our whole arm. So the mudra is going to be kind of like coming up and slicing down. We're going to be alternating that. That's basically cutting through all that stuff that doesn't serve us, all the illusion that we're talking about, and to help us strip that away so we can connect with the center chakra, the heart chakra. All right, and the affirmation is, I am the truth beyond mirrors, and I am stepping through the mirror into the great reality. I am the truth beyond mirrors, and I am stepping through the mirror into the great reality. And we're going to say that 3 times along the mudra. All right, here we go. I am the truth beyond mirror, and I am stepping through the mirror into the great reality. I am the truth beyond mirror, and I am stepping through the mirror into the great reality. I am the truth beyond mirrors, and I am stepping through the mirror into the great reality. And one more slice should do it. All right, thank you very much for joining me today. Hopefully we'll see you next month. I am going to be, hopefully I'm going to start doing another reading, kind of to break up the month a little bit, add a little something. I'm thinking something romance, and it doesn't need to be a big thing. Romance is in my heart, so I'm going to be thinking about doing that. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully we'll see you next month. Aloha.